Please join me in honoring America. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, good evening. Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Ms. Doherty.
Here.
Ms. Larraba.
Here.
Mr. Leahy. Mr. Leary.
Here.
Ms. Martin.
Here.
Mayor Milanazzo.
Here.
Mr. Conway.
Here.
6 present, 1 absent.
Thank you. We don't have anything under special order of business this evening. Moving on to the minutes, we have 2 sets of minutes. The regularly scheduled draft minutes of the meeting of Wednesday, March 16, 2011. Chair recognizes Ms. Larraba.
Thank you, Your Honor. There are a couple of additions that I need to make to the minutes. I had emailed these on the Thursday deadline, but was told that they would not be changed, so I'm bringing it to the body. On page 2, there should be a notation that there was discussion regarding the format of all future minutes, specifically that the minutes would follow the format of the City Council minutes and the format that the recording secretary, the mayor, and the city solicitor reviewed and approved for going forward. The mayor's assurance that all requests from the members of the committee regarding information in the minutes will be honored.
Do we have a second to the motion?
I'm sorry, where are we? I missed it the wrong. Page 2?
March 16th,
Page 2? Or?
if you go to page 2,
Okay.
when we were talking about the minutes, there was a conversation with John Leahy, myself, about changing the format of the minutes, and that's not reflected at all in these minutes. It's not reflected, so I would like the minutes to reflect that conversation, stating that going forward, the minutes would be in a certain format.
I can tell my colleagues I've had a conversation with the recording secretary, and you can see the April 6th minutes are a bit shorter, and we're moving toward doing what we do on the city side and having more of an abbreviated set of minutes, especially now when we discussed this before, since these meetings are all televised and there's obviously the tapes are available to review.
And again, I'm not looking for a verbatim rendering of the conversation, just that the conversation or discussion was held, and this was what came out of that conversation.
Well, unless we have a second, it fails for lack of a second. Second, any further discussion? All in favor of the motion? Signify by saying aye. Opposed to vote.
And then on page 10, Your Honor, section 2, when you start after my motion, it says, it should read that Ms. Larraba stated that recently there had been a level of interest that she hadn't seen in the last few years. People wanted to know and see what is going on, and that has not been changed per my request.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
That change was not made.
Through you to the, which you're looking at, Ms. Larraba stated that.
It's what it should say. It's incomplete as it's written. It should say, Ms. Larraba stated recently there had been a level of interest that she hasn't seen in the last few years. People want to know and see what is going on. Again, it's incomplete as written.
Is that a motion to change? Okay, second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed to vote. Motion to accept the minutes of March 16th as amended by Ms. Martin, second by Ms. Doherty. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed to vote. Next item on the agenda is the draft minutes of the meeting of Wednesday, April 6th. Any discussion?
Move to approve.
Move to approve by Mr. Leary, seconded by Mr. Conway. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed to vote. Thank you. Next item, permission to enter. Madam Superintendent.
Thank you, Your Honor. Health and Education Services, Inc., for the amount of $20,657 to amend the existing contract to provide for the additional out-of-district tuition costs for one student enrolled in receiving services as outlined in their special education IEP. Funding provided by the school department budget, special education tuition account. Lighthouse Schools, Inc., for the amount of $150,703 to amend the existing contract to provide for the additional out-of-district tuition costs for 2 students plus 4 additional students enrolled in receiving services as outlined in the special education IEP. Funding provided by the school department budget, special education tuition account. Melmac New England, Inc., for the amount of $66,615 to amend the existing contract to provide for the additional out-of-district tuition costs for 2 students plus 1 additional student enrolled in receiving services as outlined in the special education IEP. Funding provided by the school department budget, special education tuition account. Merrimack Special Education Collaborative for the amount of $167,889 to amend the existing contract to provide for the additional out-of-district tuition costs for 6 students plus 6 additional students enrolled in receiving services as outlined in the special education IEP. Funding provided by the school department budget, special education tuition account. New England Long-Term Care, Inc., for the amount of $27,571 to amend the existing contract to provide for the additional out-of-district tuition costs for 4 students plus 2 additional students enrolled in receiving services as outlined in the special education IEP. Funding provided by the school department budget, special education tuition account. The Home for Little Wanderers, Inc., for the amount of $2,175 to amend the existing contract to provide for the additional out-of-district tuition costs for 2 students enrolled in receiving services as outlined in the special education IEP. Funding provided by the school department budget, special education tuition account. The Learning Center for the Deaf, Inc., for the amount of $38,418 to amend the existing contract to provide for the additional out-of-district tuition costs for 2 students enrolled in receiving services as outlined in the special education IEP. Funding provided by the school department budget, special education tuition account. That's all, Your Honor.
Thank you, Madam Superintendent. Any questions? Ms. Martin?
Thank you very much. Can I just ask, and this is in general with the bulk of these, I'm assuming that as we're looking at the original numbers that many of these have, those are increases that have happened, fairly recently. Is that correct?
Yes, that is my understanding. Ms. Murphy would like to expand?
For many of the schools, they just received their rate increase. They had applied for a rate increase. And this schools where you see additional students have been added, those students haven't necessarily been added to the rolls recently. They may have gone into those programs in January, maybe December, but we've had funding in the contract to cover that. Knowing that there was going to be a rate increase, we were holding off until that came in.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much.
Madam Superintendent?
Part of the difficulty budgeting for the increases, though, is that we never know exactly how much it's going to be, and it occurs throughout the year, and their IEPs are due up at different times throughout the year, and that is all basically set by the state.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Motion to approve by Ms. Martin, second by Mr. Leary. Roll call.
Ms. Doherty.
Yes.
Ms. Larrabee.
Yes.
Mr. Leahy. Mr. Leary.
Yes.
Ms. Martin.
Yes.
Mayor Milonazo.
Yes.
Mr. Conway.
Yes.
6 yeas, 1 absent, approved.
Thank you. We have a number of memorials this evening. Arthur Stratton, brother-in-law of Terry O'Neill, Early Childhood District Support Specialist. James L. Polionitis Sr., father of Kathleen Durkin, Lowell High School Guidance Counselor. Henry O. Taberge, father of Don Taberge, Wang School Teacher and father-in-law of Jack Pernod, Educational Television Program Coordinator. And Walter L. Armstrong Sr., father of Beth Ann Armstrong, Maury School Teacher. May we all now rise in darkened chambers for a moment of silence. Thank you. May they rest in peace. Any unfinished business? Ms. Larrabee?
Thank you, Your Honor. I realize that Assistant Superintendent Lang is not present this evening, but I wondered if the superintendent had any kind of update on the feasibility of doing the televising of all subcommittees and the cost. That was a report that we had been waiting on.
Madam Superintendent, I'm not sure it's actually in order. I'll allow, usually unfinished business has to be listed as such, so if we're going to discuss this, we probably need to have a suspension of the rules. Motion by Mr. Leary, second by Ms. Martin, to suspend the rules in order to discuss the item brought up by Ms. Larrabee. Madam Superintendent, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Madam Superintendent?
Mr. Lang has looked into the cost associated with filming all of the subcommittees, and I don't have the numbers here this evening, but that I will ask him to provide that to the committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Going back on to the regular agenda, public participation, none this evening. Motions, none this evening. Subcommittee reports. I understand, Mr. Conway, we're going to put that off till next meeting. Okay, thank you. Moving on, reports of the superintendent. Madam Superintendent?
Thank you, Your Honor. List of eligible teachers as of April 20th, 2011, as submitted.
Motion to accept the report of eligible teachers by Mr. Doherty, second by Mr. Conway. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, the vote. Next item, personnel report. Madam Superintendent?
The personnel report as of April the 20th, 2011, retirements, resignations, promotions, new hires as of March 16th, as submitted.
Thank you. Motion by Mr. Leary, second by Ms. Larrabee, to accept the personnel report as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, the vote. Under new business, convention and conferences, we have one, Lowell High School Headmaster Edward Rosmerick to attend the Massachusetts Secondary School Administrators Association Summer Institute Conference from Wednesday, July 27th through Friday, July 29th in North Falmouth, Massachusetts. There will be no cost to the school department budget. Smaller learning community grants will fund this conference. Anybody have any comments, questions? Motion to approve by Ms. Doherty, seconded by Mr. Leary. Roll call.
Ms. Doherty.
Yes.
Mayor Millen, I'm sorry, Ms. Larrabee.
Yes.
Mr. Leahy. Mr. Leary.
Yes.
Ms. Martin.
Yes.
Mayor Milonazo.
Yes.
Mr. Conway.
Yes.
6 yeas, 1 absent, approved.
Under communications, we received a letter of thanks to the Pawtucketville Memorial's Preschool Plus program. We all have it in our packet. A motion to accept the communication placed on file by Mr. Conway, second by Mr. Leary. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Opposed to vote. Next item under the communications, Lowell Telecommunications, Channel 10, broadcast of school committee meetings live on the first and third Wednesday of the month, Thursdays at 9 p.m., Sundays at 2 p.m., and Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Motion to accept that communication by Mr. Leary, second by Ms. Larrabee. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed to vote. Professional personnel, the members of the SEIU clerical unit hereby request to donate sick leave days to the following clerks: Gladys Marrero, Adult Education, 10 days, and Cynthia Obika, Lowell High School Clerk, 4 days. Motion to approve by Mr. Conway, seconded by Mr. Leary. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Doherty.
Yes.
Ms. Larrabee.
Yes.
Mr. Leahy. Mr. Leary.
Yes.
Ms. Martin.
Yes.
Mayor Milonazo.
Yes.
Mr. Conway.
Yes.
6 yeas, 1 absent, approved.
The next request, the members of GLUE hereby request to donate sick leave days to the following: Ron Bouchard, Malloy Laura, Lee School Custodian, 7 days. Motion by Ms. Martin, second by Mr. Leary. To approve, any discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Doherty.
Yes.
Ms. Larrabee.
Yes.
Mr. Leahy. Mr. Leary.
Yes.
Ms. Martin.
Yes.
Mayor Milonazo.
Yes.
Mr. Conway.
Yes.
6 yeas, 1 absent, approved.
The last item under professional personnel, the members of the United Teachers of Lowell hereby request to donate sick leave days to the following teacher: Anna Kalupi, Bailey School, 26 days. Motion to approve by Mr. Conway, seconded by Ms. Doherty. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Doherty.
Yes.
Ms. Larrabee.
Yes.
Mr. Leahy. Mr. Leary.
Yes.
Ms. Martin.
Yes.
Mayor Milonazo.
Yes.
Mr. Conway.
Yes.
6 yeas, 1 absent, approved.
No civil service items. The chair is going to recognize Mr. Conway. I'm going to ask Attorney Hall to listen to the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of litigation update. discussing in public session could be detrimental to our position. And at that point, we could adjourn from the executive session.
Just a second. Second by Ms. Martin. Roll call.
Ms. Doherty.
Yes.
Ms. Larrabee.
Yes.
Mr. Leahy. Mr. Leary.
Yes.
Ms. Martin.
Yes.
Mayor Milonazo.
Yes.
Mr. Conway.
Yes.
6 yeas, 1 absent, approved.
Thank you. So we'll be going into executive session. We'll be adjourning from executive session. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going. Okay, I'm going. I don't take that. Huh? Oops.